17 times in a row, the little ivory ball dropped into a black pocket. The odds of that? 1 in more than 130,000. And the man who pulled it off walked out of the casino that night with over $2 million. Then he vanished so completely that, to this day, nobody can prove he ever existed. Let me take you back. October of 2009, a city called Verano Springs, tucked into the high desert about 90 miles east of nowhere. Out there stood a casino called the Silverton Crown, a big glass and marble place that catered to the kind of high roller who liked privacy more than flashing lights. The Crown had a reputation: discreet, old money. The kind of house where a whale could lose $4 million on a Tuesday and nobody in the papers would ever hear about it. On the night this all started, a man walked in wearing a charcoal suit that fit him a little too well. Clean-shaven, calm. He gave the name Adrian Voss. Now, here's the first strange thing. Adrian Voss set up a marker for $100,000, and he did it in cash. Not a wire, not a bank reference, a briefcase. The pit boss that night, a 15-year veteran named Danny Reyes, told me later he almost turned the guy away. Almost. But money's money. So they colored him up, walked him to a private roulette table in the high-limit salon, and let him play. And here's where it gets interesting. Voss didn't bet big at first. He put 500 on black. It hit. He let it ride, pressed the bet to 1,000. Black again. Then he did something no experienced gambler ever does. He pushed the entire stack back onto black a third time. 2,000. The dealer, a young woman named Priya, spun the wheel, and Danny Reyes said the whole salon went quiet the way a room goes quiet when everyone senses something before they understand it. Black. 4 times. 5. 6. Each time, Voss let it ride, and each time the ball found black. By the 7th spin, he was up over $60,000 on a single unbroken run, and the pit had gone from curious to nervous. Now, you have to understand the math here. Roulette is the house's game. It's built to grind you down. On an American wheel, there are 38 pockets, 18 red, 18 black, and 2 green zeros that belong to the house. That green is the edge. That green is why the house always wins in the long run. The odds of black hitting even once are just under 47%. The odds of it hitting 7 times straight? Less than 1 in 140. And Voss wasn't stopping at 7. By the 10th spin, Danny Reyes had called the shift manager. By the 12th, the shift manager had called the eye in the sky, the surveillance room upstairs, and told them to put every camera they had on that table. Because when a run like this happens, the house doesn't think lucky. The house thinks cheating, a rigged wheel, a magnetized ball, a dealer on the take, a shuffle tracker's cousin who found some way to read the physics of the spin. They checked all of it. They swapped the ball, black. They swapped the wheel, brought in a fresh one from the back, balanced and tested that very afternoon, black. They pulled Priya off the table and put in their most senior dealer, a man who'd worked that salon for 20 years, black. They changed the rhythm, the spin speed, the release point. Didn't matter, 14 times, 15. And Voss just sat there, expressionless, letting it ride, watching 200,000 climb toward $1 million and past it. And this is the part I keep coming back to. You'd think a man riding a streak like that would be sweating, shaking, laughing, something. Adrian Voss did none of that. He sipped water, not the free champagne the house kept pushing, water. And between spins, he just watched the wheel like a man reading a book he'd already finished. Here's a detail almost nobody knows about roulette. The wheel has a memory of 0. Physically, mechanically, statistically, the ball does not know or care what happened on the last spin. 16 blacks in a row does not make black do or red do. Every single spin is a fresh coin flip against that green edge. Which means what Voss did wasn't a strategy. It couldn't be. There is no system on Earth that makes black repeat. By every law of probability we understand, what he did was simply impossible. And yet the cameras rolled, and the chips stacked, and it kept happening. By the 16th spin, the salon was packed. Word had spread across the casino floor. Cocktail waitresses stopped moving. Other whales left their own tables to come watch. And Adrian Voss, sitting on more than $1.8 million, pushed all of it, every chip, back onto black one final time. 17. The ball dropped, rattled, hopped once, and settled. Black. The room detonated. And in the middle of all that noise, Danny Reyes told me, Voss finally smiled. Small, private, like he'd confirmed something only he knew. Now look, stories like this are exactly why people ask me where it's even safe to play. because a house that lets a wheel run wild for 17 spins clearly wasn't watching close enough. Me. If I ever put money down, it's only at spots I've vetted myself, where payouts don't stall and the games are actually clean. Where those are, I dropped in the description. Anyway, back to Voss. He colored up. $2.1 million moved into a single locked case. He tipped the dealers $40,000 on the spot. Polite, generous, unhurried. He signed the cage paperwork. And here's where the mystery really begins. The name on his marker, Adrian Voss, matched a driver's license he'd presented at check-in. When the casino's compliance team ran it 2 days later for the mandatory paperwork on a payout that size, the license came back as never issued. The address was a vacant lot. The cash he'd brought in? The serial numbers traced to a bank shipment reported destroyed 6 years earlier. And the man himself had checked into the Crown's hotel under that same name, stayed exactly 0 nights, and vanished before sunrise. The eye in the sky had him on 41 cameras, crossing the floor, at the cage, in the elevator, and then, in the parking structure, walking toward the exit at 4:17 in the morning. He stepped behind a concrete pillar. And on the far side of that pillar, on the very next camera, he was simply not there. No car pulled out, no door opened. $2.1 million in cash and the man carrying it gone between one camera and the next. The Silverton Crown never recovered the money, never filed a public report, and quietly retired that roulette wheel to a storage room where, I'm told, it sits to this day. So, what actually happened in Verano Springs? Was Adrian Voss the luckiest man who ever lived? A 130,000 to 1 miracle that just happened to land on a stranger with a fake name? Or did he know something about that wheel, that room, that night, that the rest of us never will? If this kind of story is your thing, you already know what to do. Here's my question for you, and I want you in the comments on this one. Do you think Adrian Voss got lucky? Or do you think he beat the house at something we can't even name yet? Pick a side. Tell me why.